This is the YONGNUO 50mm F1.8 DF DSM Nikon Z mount lens. It's a budget full frame lens, and at the time of making this video, it retails for a little under $300 US. Let's go and see what it's made of, shall we? A quick thank you to the team at YONGNUO for sending me out this lens to test and review, but I'm not getting paid to do this review, so any sort of findings or opinions I've got of this lens are mine alone. Opening the box, you get your manual and warranty card, and my first impressions on holding this lens was that it felt well constructed with the metal body, with the lens hood being a hard plastic. One of the features I could see straight away was that it had not one but two FN buttons, so you can assign functions from your camera's menu. Just another thing I also noticed on the lens, at the rear there's a USB-C port that you use for future firmware updates. It did actually have a cover on it for weather resistance, so extra marks there. Specs, it's a full frame lens and weighs in at approximately 417 grams. Has a 58mm filter thread, and optical construction is 11 optical lenses in 8 groups with 9 circular aperture blades. Aperture range is from f1.8 to f16, and minimum focus distance is 45 centimeters. And the price of this lens at the time of making this video? Well, see for yourself. This lens worked fine in conjunction with the eye detect autofocus with the Nikon Z7, and focusing speed between background to foreground subjects was relatively moderate in pace. Alright, that's my first impressions on this lens, as well as a look at some of the specs. Let's go and have a look at some of the sharpness tests. This test was done with my Nikon Z7, and all the camera corrections were turned on. Starting off at f1.8, and as we push into the center, you get a reasonably sharp result. Pushing out to the sides of the frame, we get some vignetting happening, and the corners are a little bit soft, but I have actually seen far worse in other budget lenses. So this isn't too bad really. Stopping down to f2.8, and that vignetting is almost gone now, and the sharpness in those corners is much better. This is f4, and the sharpness has basically improved over the entire frame in both the center and corners. F8, and finally F11. Here's a montage of shots in both stills and video using the YONGNUO 50mm F1.8 Nikon Z mount lens on my Nikon Z7. If you're in the market for a Z-mount prime lens you can use for low light situations, or to do the odd still or video shot with nice bokeh in the background, then you can use the YONGNUO 50mm F1.8 Z-mount lens for things like street photography, portraits, flowers, even food shots. was actually surprised by some of the results I got with this lens. It may not have some of the image quality or features that the more expensive native prime Z mount lenses have out there on the market, and the focus breathing I noticed in video could do with some improvement. But if you're a beginner to an intermediate photographer, then this lens may just be worth taking a look at. For more information on this lens, I've left you a link in the video description box below. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the review and thank you so much for watching. Never stop creating and I'll see you next time.